All right, I'm here with good friend Jeneille, marketing expert, stylist. How do you introduce yourself when you're out and about?
I used to say director of awesomeness, but then that didn't really slide with my teammates. So I would say I'm a creative consultant underneath the brand marketing, bubble. So that goes anywhere from partnerships, influencer strategy, also philanthropic effort outreach.
Okay. Cool. In my radar, you're top of mind when it comes to anything marketing, PR, and then partnerships. I would just say that, but very multi-talented person here. We did an entire interview. You guys should check it here. My question today, because I need people to understand a little bit more about this subject, sort of goes into like collabs and then people not knowing enough about the world of licenses. And since you have a great resume in that, my question to you is, can smaller clothing brands work with other companies, other licenses?
Yeah, and the whole core of a partnership is just keeping that relationship from the very concept of it, of thinking about it, having the idea of wanting to work with a brand or a person or a community that's going to align with your values, and then actually really build that into a strategy, execute it, and then connect it to your audience. That takes time. How you guys can create more meaningful, purposeful, content, campaigns, products. Licensing has a huge push on that just because of the resources they do have to connect to an audience that builds and that resonates with them, something happy, something joyful.
The R word, relationship, sounds really foundational in this. I feel like we're in the 20,000 foot view. I want to zoom in a little bit. So when brands think of collaboration, they always think of these grandiose like companies like Disney or Hello Kitty, like these big multi-million-dollar brands. But indeed, there's a market with a lot of levels of different companies. Would you agree?
Absolutely. There's a lot of success that goes into these companies, such as the big dogs. You want to say Disney, that acquired Marvel and Lucas. You have Sanrio, you have Hasbro. But all of them are engineered and fueled by teams that make sure that those properties and the integrity of those shows, like licenses, icons, are taken care of, and making sure that they're also not being compromised if they're put in the hands of someone else. Very similar to a brand. If you talk to a brand and they want to work with licensing, well, let's invert the situation. Are you willing to give your designs and your artwork and your brand message and give it to a licensor and give it to them and say, hey, I trust you with this. Can you actually work with me on this project or this campaign? And can you execute to the point where I'm not going to be upset when, you're kind of tweaking things to cater to your audience, but I'm also going to compliment this because I'm really excited that you're using my assets and you're using my intellectual properties, and that's where it stems from. And a lot of brands, although, bigger companies like the Hasbro, the MLB, NBA, they want to work with these brands. Everyone needs to know that there is a foundation of business that needs to be led. And that also includes conversations of royalties, agreements, longevity, where they put these point of sale. And this is also no different than any kind of small brand going into manufacturing. If the brand wants to manufacture something, the brand needs to know, the manufacturer wants to make sure that brand knows of the minimums, the timeline, the delivery costs, all those little overhead things that come into building something great.
Right.
Goes the same way, the same DNA. It's just constructed in a different manner in licensing, but it's the same language.
Right.
It's a different way of speaking: who, what, where, when, why, but then also how long, and then for how much. You include those two H's and those, in the who, where, and why in that sector. And you can really build an understanding off of the licensor, also the assets that they own, and also as a brand, how you can control and how you can really align, both areas and make something really fun for your audience.
Right. And then all of that aforementioned is pertaining, I could tell about your experience with like big companies and some of these big IPs. The intellectual property of all of these are definitely protected by the company. And I think the average person watching my channel doesn't understand, like, before any meeting, there's gonna be a thick packet. When I say packet, obviously it would be like an email or a PDF of like all the rules that you cannot break dealing with someone's intellectual property. And so that would be aspirational for a lot of like a startup brand that might be watching this. So my second big question that I want to ask you is, how can a small company begin to get involved with licenses?
You know, it's not a closed club. It's not an exclusive club. It's not like industry trade shows like we do. You know, they offer that they open the opportunity for people to attend their expos, and it's once a year. They have them in certain countries. The most common one that everyone goes to is in Las Vegas, and that's in May. And you register for free, walk the show. It's a massive show. You're talking about thousands and thousands of licenses, panels, discussions, seminars, everything that you need as a brand, as an individual, as someone who wants to work with those big dogs, or a small company that has a license, and noticing also what the trends are. If you're an emerging streetwear brand and you're seeing Primitive like go out of the park with anime, you know, 6 months down the line, why are they doing that? You know, it's kind of thinking ahead of the game, like just as much as like a fabric trend or music trend or anything else going forward. We really want to be it, you know, and such. I feel like just immersing yourself in all these types of medium and then going to the show can help build.
Amazing. So I'm definitely hearing there's an entire industry, there's an entire community, and you need to get involved. You need to attend the trade show in Las Vegas. And relationships, again, we brought up a little bit of relationships. That's so important. Dope. How can people follow? This is one of many sessions that we're going to have with Jay on the channel, talking about her wisdom in the industry. So how can people follow you on your journey?
With the Food Fighters universe, we're a great group that's bridging the gap between, you know, what's in the metaverse virtually and integrating that and having utility towards food and beverage within the restaurant and food space. Follow me if you can through my crazy journey with them on my social feeds, which you've provided already.
Jeneille, thank you so much. More to come from her on the channel for sure. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.